Hello class 8, hope you all are good. Now students, today in this video I am going to continue the same chapter in chemistry, that is your chapter number 1, matter, right? Now in previous video I had explained you about the kinetic theory and difference between solid, liquid and gases on the basis of kinetic theory, right? Now today we are going to discuss about the interconversion of matter and the processes involved in interconversion of matter, that is your melting, vaporization and condensation, sublimation, etc. Right? Let's start the chapter. What matter? As you all know that there are three states of matter, that is your solid, liquid and gases. And these state of matter can be changed from one state to another state, and then they can change back to the same original state. Let's take the example of water. You know, water is a liquid under ordinary conditions, but when it is kept in a deep freezer, it changes into ice at 0 degrees Celsius. And when ice is kept at room temperature, again changes back into liquid water. Similarly, water on heating changes into steam at 100 degrees Celsius, which on cooling changes back into liquid water. But there is no change in the chemical composition of water when its state change from liquid to solid or liquid to gaseous state. Means remain it is the chemical composition of water is same, that is it is made up of what H2O molecule, right? So what is change of state of matter? Matter may change from one state to another state on change in temperature and pressure, and this change is termed as change of state of matter. So these are the main actually two conditions which can change the state of matter, that is your what? Temperature and pressure. Now the question is, what is interconversion of matter? The process by which matter changes from one state to another and back to original state without any change in its chemical composition is called interconversion of state of matter. And the two factors which are responsible for change of state of matter, these are what? Temperature and pressure. If you change the temperature, then the state of matter changes, and the same way pressure also can change the state of matter, right? Let's discuss the processes involved in the interconversion of matter. First is your what? Melting. Second is your freezing or solidification. Third is your boiling or vaporization. Fourth is your condensation or liquefaction. And fifth is your sublimation, right? Now look at the picture of this interconversion of states of matter. First we start with solid. Solid on heating changes into liquid, and the process is called what? Melting. When liquids are changes into gases, when liquids are boiled, then they change into gaseous state, and what it is called? Evaporation, right? Or vaporization. Now when gases are cooled down, then they change into liquid, and what it is called? Condensation. And when liquids are cooled down, then they change into solid, and what it is called? Freezing. But there are some substances which directly change from solid to gaseous state, and what this process is called? Sublimation. One more process is here, that is called what? When these gases directly change back to solid, then it is called what? Deposition, right? So let's start the first process or first term, that is your what? Melting or fusion. Now what is melting? Melting is the process in which a substance changes from solid state into liquid state on heating at a fixed temperature is called melting or fusion. For example, ice melts into water at 0 degree Celsius, and this fixed temperature at which any solid change into liquid state, that fixed temperature is known as melting point or fusion point. Melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius, and of solid paraffin wax is what is its melting point? 55 degree Celsius. So we can say that different substance, they have different melting point. Although heat is supplied during melting process, the temperature remain constant, and this temperature is called latent heat of fusion. Latent means hidden, right? It is important to note that numerical values of melting point and freezing point are same. For example, melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius and freezing point of water is also 0 degree Celsius. Understood? Now next is your boiling or vaporization. Boiling is a process in which a substance changes from liquid state into gaseous state on heating at a fixed temperature. And for example, water turns into steam at 100 degree Celsius, and this temperature at which any substance changes from liquid state to gaseous state is called what? Boiling point or vaporization point. For example, boiling point of water is 100 degree Celsius and of alcohol is 78 degree Celsius. Though heat is applied during boiling process, the temperature remains constant, and this temperature is called latent heat of vaporization. Understood? And it is important to note that the numerical value of condensation point and boiling point is same. For example, boiling point and condensation point of water is 100 degree Celsius. Next is your condensation or liquefaction. Condensation is the process in which a substance changes from vapor state into liquid state on cooling at a fixed temperature. For example, steam condenses into water on cooling at 100 degree Celsius. This fixed temperature is known as condensation point, and heat is released during condensation process, and it is called what? Latent heat of liquefaction. And that is why I think all of you know that steam gives away 540 calorie per gram of heat. Now next process is your freezing or solidification. Freezing is the process in which a substance changes from liquid state into solid state on cooling at fixed temperature. For example, water turns into ice at 0 degree Celsius, and this temperature is known as freezing point. For example, freezing point of water is 0 degree Celsius and of molten wax is 55 degree Celsius. Although heat is released during freezing process, the temperature remains constant, and this temperature is called what? Latent heat of freezing. So we can say that heat is released during freezing. Now next process is your sublimation. Sublimation is the process in which a substance changes directly from solid state into gaseous state on heating without passing through intermediate liquid state. For example, naphthalene balls, camphor, iodine and dry ice. Actually, what is dry ice? It is a solid carbon dioxide. And one more example is also there, that is your ammonium chloride. Solid undergoes sublimation. These solid or these substances, what they are called? Sublimate. And its gaseous state is called sublime. Heat is absorbed during this sublimation process, and this heat is called latent heat of sublimation. I think all of you have seen these naphthalene balls, or they are also called what? Camphor, right? These naphthalene balls are placed in cupboards where woolen cloths are stored to keep insects away. Actually, they sublimate without leaving a mark on cloths. Even at home, you take 2-3 naphthalene balls and keep them in a bowl, right? And leave it for 2 days. After 2 days, what you will observe that the solid naphthalene balls, they gradually become smaller and smaller due to the process of sublimation. And after 1 week, they will disappear. Let's discuss some questions. First is your give reason. A gas can fill the whole vessel in which it is enclosed or stored. Your answer is because in gases the molecules are free to move. They are not stuck to each other and the intermolecular force of attraction is least in the gases. So the gas almost filled the whole vessel in which it is enclosed or stored. Now next is your give reason. Solids cannot be compressed. Your answer is in solids, particles are closely packed. There is a strong force of attraction and the intermolecular space is almost zero. Therefore, the molecules are not free to move, which makes them hard and rigid. So, solids cannot be compressed. Now, next is your liquids can flow. Why? Your answer is in liquids, intermolecular force is weaker because the particles are not closely packed and hence there is a large intermolecular space. So, molecules in liquids can move randomly and hence liquids can flow easily. Okay, thank you children.